Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the weekly live chat. I think this is the 43rd one since I started counting them. Appreciate every single one of you guys who joined me. It's UFC 271 Fight Week, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2, which I am super excited about. Cannot wait for this fight. The card isn't the greatest card, but it's got some quality fights on it. We have the heavyweight co-main event, Tai Tuivasa, Derrick Lewis, which regardless of what you think of those guys, love them, hate them, whatever, that's going to be a good fight. Someone's getting KO'd in that first round. If that fight went to decision, I'd be genuinely shocked. Then you have the number one contender middleweight fight, kind of Jarrett Cannoneer versus Derrick Brunson. We're going to talk about all that. We'll talk about UFC 272, which is up and coming. We can talk about, whatever, the Israel Adesanya contract situation, which is news that came out today. He signed a new huge contract. Talk about the Israel Adesanya versus Kamaru Usman super fight, and Israel Adesanya calling Ali greedy, which I think is pretty interesting. Everyone loves to crap on Ali, which is a lot of fun as always. And we'll see what's going on with that. I'm sure we'll talk about Israel Adesanya's gyno. That seems like to be like a hot topic every single week of every single time he's fought since the Yan fight. And I'm not sure what else we'll discuss, but I'm sure we'll discuss plenty. There's plenty of stuff going on. There's talk of Connor and Dustin, boxing, all that type of stuff. But first off, before we get into all that, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, make sure to like the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it if you like the stream. If can we try to? I know I did a random live stream last night. Got a little wild. Let's try not to take away from the stream. Let's talk about MMA. That's one thing that annoys me. There's nothing that anybody can say to me that's going to get me offended. But if you're trying to detract from the chat, I don't like that, and eventually you're gonna get timed out. So don't forget to subscribe as well. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications. I already have it scheduled on the channel. If you haven't already, I'll be doing a live post fight for UFC 271 on Saturday. You can go find it on the channel, and you can hit set reminder, so that way you get notified as soon as I go live. If you don't have notifications on, you can set that up. It's now scheduled on the channel. And one last thing before we really start talking about 271, we have 2,091 subscribers. Absolutely insane. All right, guys, now fill the chat with questions. Anything you guys want to talk about. I'll probably be doing a UFC 271 press conference stream tomorrow. I hope the UFC starts on time. I have to go somewhere about 7:30 Eastern time. The press conference starts at 6:30 Eastern time. So that leaves an hour. The press conference usually isn't more than a half hour. So I should have plenty of time, but we'll see how it goes. I'll probably be live. I'll at least be live, around 6:30 for the press conference. Maybe I'll go live at 6. And, that way, hold on one second. Okay. I'll probably go live around 6. That way we can talk a little bit before the press conference. Then we'll watch the press conference together with audio, but not video. And then hopefully if the UFC doesn't run late, I'll just, have to get off at 7:30. Okay. Sean says, I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas at the official economy lodging partner of the UFC, Motel 6. Headed to Houston in the morning. I'm excited for UFC 271. Did you tell us before you were going? I forgot, Sean. Did you tell us before you were going? How excited are you to go? What fight are you most looking forward to? Is it the main event? Because for me, it's the main event. Drunken Boxing says, Sean, you lucky bastard. You lucky bastard. So there you go. Usman Hussein said homework. I guess you're looking for your buddy homework. Would you rather see Jarrett versus Izzy or Strickland versus Izzy? I'm going to be quite honest. Neither one of those matchups entice me at all. I think both Jarrett and Strickland get dominated. If I had to say who has a better chance of not getting dominated, I'd say Jarrett. So to answer your question, Jarrett, maybe we'll do a poll on that. Who would you rather see Adesanya fight next? Let's see. Jarrett Cannoneer or Sean Strickland. And I'll leave that up for a little bit so people can vote. Let's see. Um, but to answer your question, Jarrett, okay. What's up, French fries? Thank you for being here, Snaggy. I don't even get why you're even saying that stuff, dude. There's plenty of people that are here every day that work just fine. So I don't get what you're getting at, but there you go. And French fries answers you. I don't get that, man. I just don't understand. Almost seems like you're trying to be an asshole, but I don't know if that's what you're trying to be, or is that just what it seems like in the chat, or maybe I'm just a little bit annoyed from yesterday. I want to see Brunson versus Izzy too. Um, I think Brunson just gets obliterated. I think Brunson gets obliterated again. But out of the three, I'd love to see if Brunson can try to get him down, but his entries are just so sloppy. So, but yeah. But yeah. I'm more excited for Lewis versus Tai. Most people that break down the main event saying it's going to be a boring chess match, and I kind of feel that it will be too. I don't know if it'll be boring, man. I don't know if boring is the right word. I think Whittaker's going to come in a little bit more conservative, and I think Israel Adesanya, you've seen how his fights are when people really don't pressure him heavily. I know he's in school. I'm just trolling. Okay. Jarrett and Sean are horrible options for the next title challenger. I know. I almost wish they would have gave Alex Pereira a big fight, and then if he won that fight, just give him a title shot. I know that isn't necessarily warranted just yet, but for me, I mean, it's the best possible option right now. You look at the UFC rankings. Let's pull up the middleweight rankings real quick. I need to start getting the middleweight rankings open the second I get on these live streams. For me, Whittaker's the most enticing option, but if Whittaker does lose, I have no desire to see Vettori ever fight for the title again. I have no desire to see Jarrett Cannoneer fight for the title. Plus, he's old. Even if he wins, he's borderline on retirement. Let's see. Sorry, I clicked on a different tab and then I messed up. Brunson's gonna get destroyed, but kind of interesting a little bit. I know Paulo Costa got absolutely wrecked, but I kind of have a desire to see that rematch at some point in time. Sean Strickland's getting wrecked. His striking isn't that good. He's able to be picked apart. He's heavy on the lead leg. Adesanya's going to chew it up. Jack Hermanson has no chance. Jack Hermanson can't even take down Jarrett Cannoneer. I think Israel Adesanya probably has better takedown defense. Darren Till, what's sad is Darren Till's never more than one fight away from a title shot just because of his name value, but he's never really beaten anyone. Uriah Hall, I wish Kelvin Gastelum beats. I hope Kelvin Gastelum beats Nasruddin Imavov, and then gets a big fight. And then I would really be interested in a Gastelum Adesanya rematch. It sucks that we may never see that. It sucks that we may never see Gastelum fight him again. But other than that, Andre Muniz, Nasruddin Imavov are two interesting contenders, but they're not even close to a title shot yet. So really, for me, the only interesting title challenger right now is Paulo Costa, and he got absolutely outclassed in the first fight. So I'm lukewarm on that one as well. But just out of all the options, if I was making the fights, well, no, not even if I was making the fights, because I would make them more on merit. But as far as what interests me the most, it's the Paulo Costa rematch, just because at least they have a storyline of excuses. It's 50-50 so far. I'd rather watch Jarrett versus Izzy fight, but on the other hand, I'd rather watch Strickland versus Izzy press conference. Okay. At least Jarrett has a really good chin and won't get finished easily and has nasty leg kicks. Agreed. McKee versus Pitbull 2 prediction. I mean, after that first fight, it's hard to pick against McKee. I think McKee is faster, younger, bigger, has better submissions, probably has the same amount of power, very dynamic in the striking, faster hands. I go McKee. I think McKee beats him. I think I picked Pitbull in the first one, but I go McKee in the second one. Probably similar TKO. Well, I think he ended up submitting him, but he TKO'd him before he submitted him. Basically, I can't remember what happened. I can't remember. I know he went for a guillotine, but I can't remember. I can't remember what the actual finish was. Okay, yes, he did get the guillotine. Okay, I remember he rocked him badly though. Almost finished him with the hands and then went for the guillotine. Did you see what Ty said? He will do a shoey out of Lewis's cup. It's funny because we actually talked about that on last night's stream. I love Strickland's striking. Okay, you're one of the very few. Musar Evalev versus Dan Ige. Thoughts? Big step up for Evalev and Dan Ige. If he loses that fight, that's not good. That's not good for him. He'll be on a losing streak. Losing to an up-and-coming guy is never good. And Dan Ige is going to slip out of that top 10. But that's a massive fight for Evalev. I just wish they would have booked Evalev versus Topuria again. Thoughts on Brunson saying he's retiring in two fight title or not? I guess I respect that. I mean, he's getting up there in age. If he loses, to Jarrett Cannoneer, I don't know where he's going from there. He probably just wants to collect one more paycheck after that and then move on. But in his mind, he's probably thinking, I'm going to beat Cannoneer and then I'm going to fight Izzy for the title. And then win or lose there, I'll retire. Ige gets out grappled, probably Musar by decision. Okay, I'm not 100% sure who I'm picking in that fight. Should Ilia Topuria fight Frankie Edgar? I think he smashes Frankie Edgar, honestly. Jarrett Cannoneer is the only conversation because the good middleweights are gone and hasn't really passed the torch. Okay, I agree. Derek Brunson's prime was when he fought Yoel Romero. The dude looked like a world beater prior to losing. Yeah, and he out wrestled Yoel Romero too in that fight. A lot of people forget that. Thoughts on Shavkat Rakhmonov? I missed the last streams. We actually talked about this in depth last night. I've been high on the Shavkat hype train for a while. I think his 3 opponents that he's faced. Yeah, and that is the wrong. No, is it? Didn't Frankie move to 135 or no? Yeah, Frankie moved to 135, and Topuria's in 135. Is it? No, you're right. Topuria's 145. Okay, Edgar moved down. That's where the confusion was. Yep, you're right. I forgot. I got it mixed up there. So thank you for fixing that. But we talked about the Shavkat Rakhmonov very heavily in depth last night. And I think his 3 opponents that he's faced in the UFC are all quality opponents. They're not the elite of the elite, but they're not trash cans. And we've seen extended periods of his skill set. He's not just going in there and knocking guys dead in 30 seconds. He hasn't fought a couple trash cans and fought one decent guy and knocked him dead in 30 seconds. We've got to see his entire skill set. And one thing, one reason I'm really high on Shavkat Rakhmonov is he's super well-rounded. He is super well-rounded. He's good on the ground. He has good submissions. He has good takedowns. He has good striking, very technical striking. And I was confident that he was going to beat Carlston Harris. I thought that, he could beat him everywhere. I think if Shavkat has a weakness, it's his ability to be controlled in the clinch. But even then, he was being controlled in the clinch by Alex Cowboy Oliveira. Gets a guillotine eventually. Carlston Harris had him pressed up against the cage for a little bit. He ends up finishing him. And the guy is so versatile, has an arsenal of attacks, has some flashy techniques, has some, super technical, striking. He'll pump the jab, straight right. Super high on him. I think the level of competition that he's fought in 3 fights is much higher than some people who are ranked much higher than him in other divisions that have 7 or 8 fights in the UFC and haven't fought the level of competition that Shavkat has. And anybody complaining about Shavkat being ranked number 15 is just a Shavkat hater, because he's fought legit competitions, and then you're crying that other guys should be ranked that haven't fought anyone. It's just the dude looks like the real deal. I think he's barely, in terms of UFC resume, he's barely behind Hamza Chimaev. And, Hamza has that Gerald Mearshart and that Li Jingliang. And he's only, and Hamzat's only 4 fights into the UFC. But those 2 names are better than what Shavkat has currently. So I think Shavkat belongs in the top 15. I can't wait till his next fight. I think he's an awesome welterweight contender. And I think also he is the future of the division. Regardless if he's a title challenger or whatnot, the dude has fought 3 very good guys. They're not elite guys. And it's the same thing with Hamza in a way. Very dominant, but at the same time hasn't fought the elite of the elite. And I think in his next fight, we will see him fight someone closer to that spot. And I think he's one big fight away from cracking in that top 10. If he goes out there, let's say he fights, Santiago Ponzinibbio or Jeff Neal next, he's probably going to take that spot. I think Shavkat is better than Chiesa. I think he's better than Sean Brady. I think he's better than Neil Magny. I think he beats Wonderboy Thompson. So for me, Shavkat Rakhmonov, sits about 7. I think he probably beats Jorge. So for me, in my personal rankings, again, I don't think he deserves this ranking just based on his resume isn't that great. But my analysis of his skill set, and again, it's backed up with physical evidence, but at the same time, I'm admitting that he has not fought the greatest of competition. I rank him very highly. I think the Santiago Ponzinibbio fight would be a good test for him next. Santiago Ponzinibbio sits at number 14, but I think he's better than that. I think he beat Jeff Neal in the last fight. I think, the decision didn't go his way. But there's a lot of guys. I mean, it's crazy to say. I would favor Shavkat, over Bilal probably. I would favor him over number 5 all the way to number 14, other than maybe Hamza Chimaev. Because Hamza would probably be able to bully him in the clinch. That's my personal take. Shavkat's overrated. That's actually probably true because I think people don't understand the word overrated. For me, and I've explained this a million times on the channel, for me, overrated is the body of work compared to the perception of the fan base of their skill set or the perception of the general, just people who consume MMA, whether it be the MMA media, whether it be the UFC itself, whether it be the fans. If the perception of the skill set is higher than the body of work, I think you are overrated, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think Hamza Chimaev is overrated, but I still think Hamza Chimaev is very, very good. I just think the body of work that he has so far doesn't translate to the level of hype and the level of belief that the fans, the media, and the UFC have in this guy. And this is coming from a guy, and if you think I'm saying anything bad about him, you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. Because this is I did a video every champion at the end of 2022, and I predicted Hamza to beat Usman. So, Shavkat, Hamza, Zabit, what's up with these bull rat names? They're all from over near Russia. Shavkat's from, I forgot where he's at. Where he's from. He's not a Russian. Shavkat Rachmanov. He is from. I literally, isn't bull rat from Kazakhstan? I think it is Uzbekistan. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. He's from that area of the world. I'm not even sure 100% where that's at, but it's not Russian. Nah, Shavkat's not a Dagestani. He is not. He's not even from Russia. That's a different part. He's from a different part of the world, closer to China, I believe. Shavkat versus Salihov. That'd be a decent matchup. I prefer someone better. How am I falling behind already? I'm falling behind, guys. Keep filling the chat with questions. I will catch up. I'm going to go faster. I just try to give you guys an accurate articulation of my stance on each question. And sometimes I go for too long. Sorry. Frankie used to be okay, right. My boy Joey, thank you, Jack Rock, for coming to the stream. Frankie used to be lightweight champ and was outsized by Vera. I know that's crazy. Frankie should retire. His fight with Korean Zombie showed his chin can't take a single punch. Sad, used to have the iron in his chin. He's getting old. He's taking a lot of damage. Brian Battle versus Maximov prediction. I will never predict Nick Maximov to win a single fight. The dude he did no damage, and it was just, honestly, it was an embarrassing performance in my mind. Edgar's chin has been deteriorating. Exactly. Taporia should fight Alex Caceres, who's ranked number 15. Then they could redo the Evalev fight. I don't even like saying his first name. Edgar's chin was gone 4 years ago. Now he's fighting with any chin bones. True story. Okay, I already read some of this. Shavkat, okay. Hey, Joey, how you doing? How we doing? What's up, Fast, man? Thank you for being a member. Thank you for helping us with the Discord. Thank you for being a moderator. I greatly appreciate you. Bilal, remember the I, Muhammad, absolute trash fighter. Hamzat would dominate Shavkat. Okay, bold prediction. Can Hamzat beat Gilbert Burns? I think he can. I'm not confident that he will, but I'm leaning Hamzat Chimaev right now. If Luque gets beaten by Muhammad, he needs to retire. I don't know if that's the case. Hamzat is very good. He hasn't had the opportunity to fight a top-ranked dude yet. Agreed. Lots of future prospects to watch on UFC 271. Jeremiah Wells, Uberg, Ronnie Lawrence, Casey O'Neill. Shavkat is from Afghanistan. No, he's not. He's from Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan. Yep, there you go. You guys already answered it. Do you think Robert is going to shoot early. No, I do not think Robert Whittaker is going to shoot early. I think he's going to try to mix them in. I think he's going to try to play the long game and not rush in and get caught. You say Maximov looked very passive in the fight as if he didn't fight Soriano. The kid is 24 and has so much more time to improve, especially in the middleweight division. I don't get what you're trying to say there, Cyber. Just because he's 24 and has so much time to improve doesn't mean that my opinion is any less valid. I'm just giving you the assessment of him at 24. I can't look in to his personal future and say, okay, he's really good. I don't know. So, okay. Okay. Finally caught up. Don't know who this is. Was the best lightweight fighter of 2010. Nobody knew. I don't even know what that name is. Do you think Jorge's career is going to go downhill after losing to Colby? I think it's already on the decline a bit. But it's hard to say, man. You never know. A lot of people thought that Jorge Masvidal's career was going down, before when he was out for a while before he came back and fought Darren Till and knocked him out. A lot of people picked Darren Till to beat him. I was one of the few people that picked Jorge Masvidal, and I was confident in Jorge Masvidal to beat Darren Till. Izzy kind of let Robert land too many sloppy shots. If Izzy didn't roll with a few, he could be in trouble, yeah. But also, Robert's not going to rush in like he did in the first fight. Rob is not going to do that because that's what got him clipped. He got knocked out twice in that first fight. He only got saved by the bell in the first round. I think Covington dominates Jorge. It's possible, but I think Jorge has a much better chance than people give him credit for. He lost my respect when he punched Leon and didn't give him the fight afterwards. I know, and then he pulled out of the fight in December, and people are blaming Leon. Punahele is a really good fighter. The Maximov is at the beginning of his career. Very impressive win, too, regardless of his performance. I don't really think so, because I think he lost, and he won by just doing nothing the whole fight. So, and he got rocked badly, cut up, and then he just hung on for dear life. It is what it is. He beat a decent fighter, but he didn't really beat him, in my opinion. So I didn't score the fight for him. I don't remember what I scored. I think I gave 1 and 2 to Soriano, and then 3 to Maximov. Is the Masvidal hype train over if he loses again? Maybe. I doubt it, though. If he loses again, he'll be on a 3-fight losing streak. He can still fight Leon Edwards if Leon loses to Usman. He can fight Luque eventually. There's still plenty of fights for him. There's the Conor fight. There's the Nate rematch. There's the Tony Ferguson fight. There's a lot of fights out there for Jorge Masvidal. And I think a lot of people will be very interested in him fighting still. Especially considering you look at the, so I know a lot of people don't like Masvidal. And I've kind of soured on him a little bit since he KO'd Ben Askren. He's been a bit annoying. But if he loses, I know a lot of people will be shitting on him for losing 3 in a row, but we have to look at who he lost to. Kamaru Usman twice and Colby Covington once. They aren't bad losses to have. They're the top 2 guys in the division. If he goes out and fights, Vicente Luque, people will be hyped for it. If he fights Nate Diaz again, people will be hyped for it. If they book a Conor McGregor fight, Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor, even both of them coming off massive losing streaks, that'd be one of the biggest fights the UFC could make. So, I think he still has plenty. And I think now that he's getting them big checks from the UFC since he's blown up in popularity, I think he will fight as long as he can. Because he fought for years and he wasn't making that much. Jorge Masvidal is the most popular journeyman. His freak win against Till and Askren somewhat erased his god-awful career. He literally lost to everyone. Dude, he did not have a god-awful career. Let's analyze that a little bit more. Now it's time to get into a rant. Okay, so first thing first. I am not a Jorge Masvidal fanboy at all, okay? Second, so I was a big Jorge Masvidal fan before the Ben Askren KO. Then I felt like his personality started to change a bit, and he annoyed me, and I still like watching him fight. But you look at his career, he's had a very long career. He's been fighting since 2003. That's insane. 2003. That's just under 20 years ago. That's 19 years. Okay? So in the UFC alone, let's see. He has a loss to Al Iaquinta. He has a loss to Benson Henderson. He has a loss to Lorenz Larkin. He has a loss to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. He has a loss to Damian Maia. And he has 2 losses to Kamaru Usman, okay? That's the UFC record, okay? And he has a loss to Rustam Khabilov, I think is how you pronounce his name, okay? So first off, the Ali Quinta fight is a split decision. Could have arguably went Jorge Masvidal's way. The Benson Henderson fight was a split decision loss. Could have arguably went Jorge Masvidal's way. The Lorenz Larkin fight was a split decision. Could have arguably went Jorge Masvidal's way. The Damian Maia loss was a split decision. Could have arguably went Jorge Masvidal's way. The Wonderboy fight, he got outclassed, lost. I think it was 30-27. And then you look at some of these wins. He has some decent wins, you know. Also, the unanimous decision loss to Rustam Khabilov. That guy was a really good early prospect back in 2013. I don't know what happened to him now. Pat Healy wins, decent. Darren Cruikshank was an up-and-come contender back in 2014. James Krause, okay win. Cesar Ferreira, decent win. He KO'd him back then. Ross Pearson was a decent win back in 2016, I believe. Jake Ellenberger, okay. And Jake Ellenberger was probably on his way out at that point. The Donald Cerrone win was good in 2017. The Darren Till win is not a fluke. The Ben Askren win is not a fluke. The Nate Diaz win is not a fluke. Okay? First off, I believe that Jorge Masvidal, up until that Ben Askren win, was criminally underrated. People gave him no chance to beat Darren Till or Ben Askren for that matter. He went out and KO'd them both. The guy, you know, has 35 wins in his MMA career and 15 losses, but he's been fighting since 2003. So, you know, that's insanity. And, you know, he had a lot of losses early in his career, okay, and lost a lot of tough split decisions. You look at his record, you take 4 split decisions off there. You know, if you take 4 split decisions off there, he's now 39-11. That's a much better record. He's won 16 of those by knockout, 2 by decision. 2 by submission, 17 by decision. I get the resume isn't all that great because me personally, when I look at this resume, and I just mentioned some of the decent wins, Darren Till, overrated for a long time, not that great of a win. Ben Askren, straight up bum. I don't credit that win all that well, even though it was spectacular fashion. Nate Diaz, we know what Nate Diaz is, and he's not a real welterweight. You know, I don't think that win's all that great. You know, so even the top 3 wins of his career, I understand what you're saying. So in a way, I think we kind of agree, but just kind of disagree on the exact logic of it. But I just don't think you can base his career off these losses. He's fought a lot of great competition. And I believe had he beat Damian Maia at UFC 211, he would have got the title shot against Woodley, and I believe he would have beat Woodley. And he would have been on a 4-fight winning streak, and then he would have claimed the UFC welterweight title from Woodley. And then you look at, you know, his last 3 fights, if you include his next fight, he's fighting top competition, and he's lost to Kamaru Usman, who a lot of people now consider the greatest welterweight of all time. Or he's getting there, or at least consider that he's getting there. So, you know, it's one of those things where I get people's frustrations because at this point in time, Jorge Masvidal is very overrated. People are way too high on him for no reason. But at the same time, you know, I think we're playing a little bit of revisionist history if you say his career in general is, you know, terrible. He's been very close to title shots. He's fought good competition at every turn. You know, there's a lot of other people who maybe are taking easy fights or anything like that. You know, none of these guys were easy. I know looking back and saying, okay, oh, this guy, that guy. Lorenz Larkin was a beast back when he lost to Lorenz Larkin. Ben Henderson was close to his prime when he lost to Ben Henderson. Split decision as well. Ali Quinta was much better back in 2015. Rustam Khabilov, I think he even main evented a fight night card before. Let's take a look-see. Yeah, he main evented, I think, against Benson Henderson at one point in time. Yeah. Rustam Khabilov main evented a fight night card before. That's how highly the UFC thought of that guy. So I think I kind of agree with part what you're saying, but you get the point. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next question. Okay, options Michael Chiesa stand up. Options Michael Chiesa. I don't know what that question means, Carter Tracy. Montefiore versus Neal is going to be fight of the night. I hope Montefiore wins. Somebody go put $100 on Roxanne. How far can Kyler Phillips go in the bantamweight division? I don't know if he can go that far, and not because I'm not high on his skills. It's just that the division is so filthy. I think he's like a a 10 through 15 guy at best. At best. But the division is so deep, it's going to be hard for him. It's so funny, Masvidal went on a reality show and all of a sudden he's a good fighter. So dumb. I don't even know about a reality show that he was on. How would Masvidal Conor go? Probably won't, but it could. I hope it does happen. I think Masvidal beats Conor. I think Masvidal gets clipped with a lot of shots, but he eats them. And then eventually Conor starts to fade. Masvidal's got good cardio. He's the bigger, stronger fighter. Masvidal has good striking. And I think Masvidal TKOs him in the third or fourth. Can Leon beat Usman? 100% Leon can beat Usman. Leon's very well-rounded. He has decent grappling. He's out-grappled guys before. He didn't do terrible against Usman back in the day. And there's no doubt in my mind he's been training that for a while now. You look at the welterweight division, probably one of the most wrestling-heavy divisions. He took multiple fights with Hamza Chimaev. He wanted to fight Colby Covington last year when Hamza pulled out of the March fight. The guy's training grappling. Tuivasa versus the Black Beast. Thoughts? Somebody's getting KO'd in the first round. Are we going to see a bear celebration or a shoey? We're going to see a bear celebration. I'm assuming that's Derrick Lewis's celebration. I don't know what you're saying. If Colby couldn't beat Usman, Leon has even less of a chance. I disagree. Colby's striking is not good. Usman's striking is not that good. Leon, if he can negate the takedown threat and strike, I think he can outstrike Usman and win a decision. Jorge Masvidal is the type of person to lose to Luis Palomino. That's beyond embarrassing. Hey man, don't try to trash Luis Palomino. That dude went to war with Justin Gaethje like 17 times. Wait, you actually think Masvidal beat Demian Maia? You freaking tripping. Did not watch this fight. I never said that. I said it was a split decision. Could have won either way. And the fight was close. But I think I scored that fight for Demian Maia. So don't put words in my mouth. Lamau spits in his dog mouth. What you on? What are you talking about? Nate Diaz win is not worth anything. Agreed. He did. Masvidal has an okay career, nothing great. Yeah, I think there's people who artificially try to inflate his career. And I think there's people who artificially try to, shit on his career because he's kind of become a polarized figure in the MMA community now. I just don't think Jorge can out-grapple with the elite. It's been true. That's been said. I think a lot of people agree with that. There's a video of it out there. I'm low-key more excited for Tai Derrick. I think some people are. A lot of people are. Would Jorge... Who is calling me right now? I'm low-key... Okay. Would Jorge be good at 185 with limited grapplers? I think the guys would be too big for him. I think they'd be too good for him now. I lost my spot. Jorge can't grapple. His style isn't that good if he can't knock you out. He has decent wrestling, though, okay? He's getting out-grappled by some of the best guys. Usman is nowhere near welterweight GOAT. Not really welterweight title defenses yet. No. Come on, man. He's getting there. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. People who were saying that are also saying Colby Covington's so great. Well, Kamaru Usman has 2 wins over him. And again, whether it can be debated, and I get it that he's not there yet, but if he goes out there and beats Leon, and then he beats Hamzat, I think he's right there in the discussion. It's up for debate at that point. Masvidal hasn't fought any elite level until his title shot. I disagree. Usman's resume is really good already. Agreed. Jorge is fun to watch on top. He fights top competition. Yeah, he's taking tough fights. Look at GSP's resume and compare to Usman's. Hey, I'm not saying that Usman has a better resume than GSP, and also I wasn't around for the entire GSP era. So, but I'll do it real quick. Let's take a look. Let's see what I think. And also, it's hard because there's a lot of recency bias. GSP's been gone for so long. And also I missed a lot of these title defenses. Yeah, so for me it's the prolonged dominance, He has the title. He wins the title in 2008 and defends 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times and then wins the middleweight title. I'm not familiar with a lot of these early guys early on in his career. But you start looking at, when the competition at welterweight still really started to get nasty. And I'm not saying he did this intentionally. It just could have been timing. When you had Johnny Hendricks coming up looking like a savage. You had Robbie Lawler coming up looking like a savage. You had Woodley coming up looking like a savage. It seems like that when he got out of there. And I don't count the Bisping win for much. But the prolonged, sustained dominance is, for me, what makes me say that he's still the GOAT. You know, again, you look at the title defenses, the consecutive title defenses. You know, depending on where you count it at, because he was the interim champion, then he won and unified the belts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 title defenses versus Usman's. You know, what is it? 3, 4 now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So Usman's got a ways to go. I even though I like the 2 Colby Covington wins, I like the Gilbert Burns win, I like the Jorge Masvidal wins. If he beats Leon and then he beats Hamza to defend the title, we can have the discussion. But right now, the sustained dominance over a long period of time, it's just not there for me personally. I think you could make the argument, but for me, I'm not going to be making that argument. Okay. It looks like 66% is going with Jarrett Cannoneer over Sean Strickland. They'd be more interested to see Jarrett Cannoneer fight Adesanya next. I would agree with that. What's up? Keep out. I hope you're doing well. Usman has cleaned out the division already. He's getting there. Ariel said today that Tony Chandler on the 274, which already has 2 title fights, is very close to being booked. I think Tony's management hates him and keeps giving him 3-rounders. That's a joke. It needs to be a 5-round fight. Even Conor made fun of Tony's management today on Twitter and replied to Tony's tweets. Wish the UFC would do 165, 175, 185, 195, 205 division. It would be more champions and less weight cut. And I don't know, man, but I'm always against change, you know. Masvidal only fought elite level against 2 fighters in welterweight, the champ and Till. Okay, whatever. At the moment, missing some questions. I have live chat on. I'm sorry if I'm missing questions. I'm sorry. The chat is very deceiving. The way I see it on my end, let's see what that is. Thank you for subscribing. The way it is on my end, it jumps around too much. I'm trying to scroll down and it'll scroll down like 3 inches instead of like a half an inch like I wanted to. Usman will never be the welterweight GOAT because people like GSP so much and they hate Usman. They could have 100 title defenses. They wouldn't consider him the GOAT. You're probably right, to be honest. Any GOAT talk will come to a halt when Leon TKOs Usman, just how like people were saying Woodley was the welterweight GOAT before getting embarrassed by Usman. I never was one of those people that thought that. I mean, Woodley was not even close. Woodley was saying it, though. Leon too small to stand up with Usman, in my opinion? I don't think so. And why is Michael Johnson so fast but so inconsistent? I have no idea. Michael Johnson is the best and worst fighter at the same time. I say the same about Bobby Green. There's not a single media score that scored it for Jorge's against Masvidal. Half the people thought 30-27 Maya. The other half thought 29-28 Maya. Jorge got dominated via wrestling in 2 rounds easily. Okay. If Colby's striking isn't good, then Usman's is average at best. I think neither one of them striking is very good. Usman is lapping the division, going for rematches. Let me exit out all these tabs. I have a bunch of tabs open right now. You said Leon has a better boxing than Colby and he can beat Usman. One thing you forgot is when a guy is good as Usman, he will 100% land some shots on you and you got to take that. I'm with you, but I just think his striking is better. Like the stream. Let's get those likes up. Yeah, guys, like the stream. If you have not liked the stream already, do me a favor, like the stream. We got about 25 people in here, and we only got 13 likes so far. If you like the stream, it pushes out to more people, helps grow the channel, helps grow the chat. I would greatly appreciate you guys if you did. Colby pieced up Usman in the first fight. If Colby had more weight on him, probably would have won. Okay. More time in the fight, Diaz could have KO'd Leon. Yeah, well, he shouldn't have taunted. He shouldn't have taunted. That's what happens when you taunt. But either way, he got destroyed the first 4 rounds. If Colby's striking is that bad, Usman's pitiful considering he got hurt by pillow fist. Okay, there you go. Usman's jab has been deadly lately. He has been working on it. Usman keeps getting rematches, fake legacy. Would Usman beat prime GSP? Probably not. Probably not. Should he have not fought Colby again? I think he should have, but I guess you're talking to other people. The roster is too shallow for a bunch of extra divisions. Okay? That guy calling Darren Till Elite, that is hilarious. Liked and subbed. And it was a different era, brother. Can't compare fighters now. And one's 20 plus yet ago. Okay. What is the UFC 272 co-main going to be if it's not Poirier Diaz? It's going to be Bryce Mitchell, Edson Barboza. I hate to say it. Liked and sub. Thank you, Jack Rock. Do you like Dana White Contender Series? I watch it, but I'm not like a massive fan. I think, they usually start off with some good prospects, but then as the season goes on, it's kind of, eh. Who would you compare Adesanya's style to? I don't really know, to be quite honest. I guess, if you had to pick out one person, it'd be Anderson, but it's really not even like that. He's got very good kickboxing. Okay, guys, I have caught up to the chat. I will be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick and fill the chat with questions while I'm gone. Fill the chat with as many questions as you possibly can think of, and I will be back in a second. Okay, I am back. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see what happened while I was gone. Okay, looks like we got a million different messages now. Guys, keep filling the chat with questions. I greatly appreciate you guys. If you're watching for the first time and you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow for the UFC 271 press conference. Let me know in the chat. Are you going to be able to join me for the press conference tomorrow? It's 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. So basically around this time tomorrow. Let me know in the chat if you're going to be here tomorrow. Okay, let's see. Let's see what I missed. I'm going to go really fast here so that I can catch up. Okay, Barboza Mitchell, what would you... Okay, read that. Darren Still is elite as a welterweight. I don't think so. What's ceiling for Bryce Mitchell? Do you think he's title material? Absolutely not. I think he gets blasted by Edson Barboza. When is Dana White Contender Series? I have no idea when it starts back up. I hit that like button when you sent it out to help the algorithm. Thank you, Keep Out, man. I appreciate your support. UFC 272 is doomed at this point. Imagine the main event falls off. Does Bobby Green win? I'm going to say yes. Bobby Green, in a way, reminds me of, and I've said this before, like Michael Johnson. Sometimes he comes out and he looks like he's one of the best in the world. Other times he comes out and he looks absolutely terrible. So I think he wins. It's hard to really get a gauge on him because it's like sometimes he'll come out and it seems like he loses to guys that aren't even that good, but other times he comes out and he just looks like a world beater. And Bobby Green's been around forever. For those of you guys who don't know, he's been fighting since I went to an event in 2014, UFC 172, and I remember being hyped that Bobby Green was on the card. And, just to think he was fighting for, I think, years before that for the UFC. So now it's 8 years later, he's still fighting. I was so frustrated with Diaz taunting Leon after rocking. I was screaming, "What are you doing?" Yeah, he gave him like 5-6 seconds of free time to recover by pointing at him. I wonder what would have happened if he would have just swarmed him. Shoot, I was going to buy 272, probably not now. They better promote UFC 272 a lot. Agreed. We need all these welterweights, middleweights to go back down. Alex Hernandez is complaining about being on the early prelims. Does he even have fans? I don't think so. Damn, tuned into a Be Right Back. Well, I'm back now. I am back now. Makhachev versus Beneil is going to be a grapple fest. Agreed. UFC card just started out shit this year. Yeah, they haven't been as stacked. I think we got spoiled with the 3 stacked cards. Brock Lesnar is a heavyweight champ, by the way, to be honest. Brock Lesnar for heavyweight champ, to be honest. I would rather not. Remember when Alex Hernandez talked mad shit to Donald Cerrone and got bested easily? Yeah, very familiar with James Vick versus Justin Gaethje. Talked mad shit, called him geriatric, said, he had CTE, and then gets destroyed. Do you think Robert does better this time around or gets dominated again? I think he does better, but he gets finished. I have a full prediction video on the channel. If you want to go check it out after this stream, I would greatly appreciate it. I have prediction videos for the main event, Adesanya versus Whittaker 2. I have a prediction video for Tai Tuivasa versus Derrick Lewis. And I have a prediction video for Jarrett Cannoneer versus Derek Brunson. I forgot his name that quick for some reason. All full breakdown and predictions on the channel. If you guys want to go check them out, where I kind of give you guys some backstory, my thoughts on how the fight's going to play out, how their skills match up with each other, and give you my official prediction. Okay. Will the commentators show any bias? Probably. I literally, at this point, I can't stand the commentary team. They seem so biased every single time. If Beneil wins, how do you see him winning? Keeping the fight on the feet and outstriking him, if I had to guess. Leon gets wobbled by pillow fist Nate Diaz in the 5th. Imagine what a clean shot of Usman would do. I've said that exact line before, almost verbatim. 100% they will favor Izzy on commentary, especially considering that huge deal he just signed. Can Beneil get the job done? I think he can, but I doubt it. Let's be honest, though. Those guys are probably the best fight out right now. They need to get him in the UFC. Stop it. Somebody's just trying to troll. Izzy is scared to strike first, is what I noticed. He probably tries to counter the whole fight, and if Robert is on the back foot, might be a boring fight. Yeah, the way to fight Izzy is to not go to him. He wants you to come to him. I think the best path to victory for Whittaker is try to time a Khalil Roundtree oblique stomp and just blow out that knee. Is Joe Rogan commentating this weekend? I believe so. We got a bunch of messages while I was gone. Holy crap. The channel is just growing, guys. I can't believe it. I thank you guys so much for subscribing to the channel, for joining these live streams. Make sure you all join me on Saturday for the post-fight. I'll be live right after the fights. It's already scheduled on the channel. You can go set a reminder. Robert will hit the canvas again, probably. GSP is better than Usman because he was able to beat doped-up fighters pre-USADA era. It's debatable, man. Everyone's saying people are still using it. Wouldn't surprise me. Yes, send out reminder. Green never looks terrible. The judge make him look bad when he wins half the fights. Okay. Usman would out-wrestle GSP. I think GSP would outstrike Usman. To give you more clarity on why I would pick GSP. Prime GSP would be able to stuff the takedowns of Usman and then just pick him apart in a boring fight where it's just a jab fest. GSP had better striking in his prime. Bobby Green reminds me like Jorge Masvidal. If he catches lightning in a bottle, I could see him having a similar success. Hey, Joey, I forgot it was Wednesday. Scale of 1 to 10. What's your hype level for 271? Scale from 1 to 10. 10 being an absolute stacked card. 1 being the worst card ever. I'm at about a 5, maybe a 6. I'm pretty excited. But also, I hold my fight cards to a high standard, as you know, Fight Life. I would say about a 5 or 6. For Ngannou versus Gane, I was about maybe a 6, a hard 6. So, I'm a little bit less hyped, just because I was really excited for that heavyweight main event. I mean, I know it didn't live up to the hype. Hey, Joey, I have an inside feeling that neither Tuivasa or Lewis would get KO'd and it will end in decision. Probably not as boring as Gane and Lewis, but still boring. Absolutely no way, shape, or form that's going to happen. Hot take: Green would now put a serious beating on Gamrot Riddell. I would worry for Gaethje. That is a hot take. I'm not sure of that. Okay. My home, Joey, be proud of me feeding my family this weekend. It's a BBQ. I'm the operator. All right, congratulations. I'm proud of you. All these fight night cards coming up too are awful. Yeah, they're not stacked crazy. How would Tai versus Tom Aspinall go? 50-50 fight. Either Tom Aspinall, has the faster hands and doesn't get clipped. One of them's getting knocked out, to answer your question. I'd favor Tom Aspinall. Only 4 fights have been signed for the main card of UFC 272. You don't think anything will get signed there at all? I mean, there's definitely going to be something, but I don't know if it's going to be what you're hoping for, to answer your question. I was hoping for Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler, but I don't think that's going to happen. I was hoping for Nate Diaz versus Dustin Poirier. That's not going to happen. So it is what it is. Maybe the UFC's banking on that storyline to sell the fight. I think that's what it is. It's less than a month away. They have something in the works a while back, then I doubt it. Yeah. Are you on the Sean hype train? Which Sean are we talking about here? It's a really good card, top to bottom. Just doesn't feel promoted as any other pay-per-view. Yeah, maybe the UFC was worried about the new deal with Adesanya. He hadn't signed a bout agreement until this week. So maybe they were worried that if they couldn't get this deal done, the card could be canceled. Or maybe also they were trying to devalue Adesanya by not promoting him. But now maybe if it starts all of a sudden feeling crazier, then it's probably because they got this deal signed. And who has more of a chance, Jorge against Colby or Sean against Petr Yan? Jorge versus Colby for sure. Jorge over Colby for sure. I bought 271. Shit costed a lot. Think they should do Jones versus Stipe? I want Jones versus Ngannou. Tuivasa won't let it be boring, but that dude is all fireworks. Agreed. Somebody's getting KO'd. It's just a matter of who. Ronnie Lawrence versus Manny Martinez, low-key banger on the prelims. There's a lot of great fights on the card, for sure. You look at the early prelims, I think you got Adesanya's teammate versus Jeremiah Wells. You got Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Sergey Morozov. You got Jacob Malkoun versus AJ Dobson. Carlos Uberg versus Fabio Charant. You got Alexander Hernandez versus Renato Moicano on the early prelims. And then you got the Mana Martinez fight you just mentioned. There's a lot of quality fights on this card. They're not super crazy important, super big names. But I think this is a hardcore fight cards. Hardcore fans fight card that they can really enjoy. I like Alex Perez versus Matt Schnell. They're two top flyweights. Really looking forward to that fight. Don't really care all that much about Roxy versus Casey O'Neill. Some people might care more. Don't really care that much about Andrei Arlovski versus Jarrett Vanderna. But the main card, even though they're not the most important fights, Bobby Green versus Nasrat Haqparast is a good fight. Kyler Phillips versus Marcelo Rojo is a good fight. And obviously the top 3 fights, which we already talked about in depth, are all quality fights as well. Nick Nurmagomedov versus Nick Kennedy and Chukwu prediction. I'm not even sure. I gotta actually search these names right now because I have to remember who these guys are. I recognize the second name, but I do not remember. Okay, there he is. So he's the one that he just lost by brutal KO, and he has a fight coming up against. Why is it not on here yet? Let me look something up real quick. Tapology. Let's see if it has that. Does that have that fight listed yet? Okay, there we go. It's on Covington. Okay, it's on UFC 272. I see. I don't know. I probably go Kennedy, guy who name I cannot last name who I cannot pronounce at the current moment. I probably go him, but I always like to dig deeper into these fights, and for me, it's hard to remember their most recent performances. But I'll look more into it and get it back to you on that one. But I'd probably go Kennedy. Dustin would bully Nate, most likely. Hey, Joey, what's up, homework? Oh, Usman, whose name I can't pronounce or don't remember, is always looking for you in the chat. Will Ngannou fight again? I hope so. I'm telling you, people like Bobby will never give up. He's not built like that. It's his background. Need to make it or die trying. Okay. Saw somewhere that Zabit wanted to fight late February. Why not move him up to 272? But it's UFC, so not getting hopes up. Yeah, I don't know if that rumor was true. I saw that too, but I didn't see it from anywhere confirmed. How would Derrick versus Tai go to the ground? Someone would get dropped and someone would jump on top. Do you think Jones can take the belt back if he went back to 205? Probably. My prediction, Whittaker submits Izzy, Lewis decisions to Tuivasa, Cannoneer, KOs, Brunson out cold. Well, you better bet on those first two because I'm sure you can make good money. Casey O'Neill might fight for a title in like 2 fights, which is sad. I agree. Dana should make people pay to watch Jorge Colby press conference. I would not be paying to watch that. Kennedy beats Carlos Uberg last year. I think I do remember that fight. See, for me, it's hard to keep up on all these fights. Yeah, he beat Carlos Uberg. He beat him by stoppage on the Adesanya Blachowicz card. I still have his resume up here. It was a quality win. Not the biggest of wins, but decent for where he's at. Also, Hamza versus Colby would be a dream come true. Stop Hamza's hype train. I think Hamza probably beats Colby, but I wouldn't doubt if Colby won either. So, is it just me or Uberg have pillow hands and he was gassed in the Kennedy fight? I don't remember, man. Is there a presser tomorrow? Yes, it's 6:30 Eastern time. I will be having a live stream with the audio only from the press conference. TKZ Chins Volk, that would be insane. Jarrett and Derrick Brunson should be added to the press conference to maybe build up the fight with the winners. I don't know why they're not. Is Glover fighting Yuri Prochazka next? Yes, UFC 274. Yuri Prochazka, Glover Teixeira, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, all on those cards. Yuri will be champion. He's got a tough task ahead of him in Glover Teixeira. Especially, Glover is very durable. I know he gets rocked quite a bit. He has a high fight IQ. He's got good wrestling and good top game. And Yuri's style, he leaves himself exposed. And also, he can be controlled on the ground. And Glover Teixeira has some of the best top game. Has won me underdog and money in the past. You see Brunson's going to retire in 2 fights, win or lose. I think in his mind, he's thinking he's going to beat Cannoneer, then fight for the title, win, and then retire. But yes, I did see it. He's getting up there in age. And what more does he have to prove? What fight are you most excited for? On the card coming up, it's got to be the main event. Got to be the main event. UFC 274 sounds solid. UFC 274 is solid. I want to see a DC come back. If he comes back, he could out-grapple the whole heavyweight division and spam it in his YouTube channel to get attention. I think DC's done, man. I think he's done. What's your top 3 MMA rivalries? DC Jones is definitely up there. DC Jones is way up there. Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen 1. I guess I'm not talking about fights. Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen rivalry is probably my number 1. Then I'd probably go Jones, DC. And I'm trying to think of another one. What's another one that I really enjoyed? I'm trying to think back, you know. Let's see. Which other ones did I really like? I don't know. I'm trying to think of another one. I really like the Conor Nate Diaz rivalry. I like that one. And, you know, there, look, Sinister said the same thing. I said that before I even read that, just so you know. They would probably be my top 3. Anderson Chael, Jones DC, and Conor Nate. You know, I love, if you have not seen the original press conference when Nate Diaz accepted the fight on 2 weeks' notice and they did a last-minute press conference in a random-ass gym, look that up on YouTube. That is an amazing press conference. Pound for pound, best press conference I've ever seen in my entire life. Absolutely hilarious. I gotta say, stop saying I hate when I say but I do it a lot on these live streams. Volk is going to destroy TKZ. People are only supporting TKZ to beat Volk because they hate Volk after his latest tweet about Max. I would tend to agree with you. Yeah, there's no way UFC 274 will be boring. I agree 100%. It's amazing fights. Can't wait for Oliveira versus Gaethje. Yuri's going to have to catch his chin before he shoots for the legs. Yeah, I have to put him out cold. What did Volk say about Max? Basically that Max faked an injury not to have to fight him. We'll cancel the TKZ fight and book the trilogy. International fight week so far looks like maybe Juliana Pena versus Amanda 2 and Leon versus Usman 2. That's kind of unfortunate. Conor Nate maybe, okay, just already read that. Figgy Moreno is a good modern day rivalry. Agreed. Jones looks so dominant in the rematch against DC. Guys, John Jones moving forward and being aggressive was one of the scariest guys I've ever seen. I was a Conor stan at the time and it broke me when he lost. Dude, I feel bad for you. Are you still a Conor fan now? Because I was a big Conor fan in his early days. I did not like him before he even beat Jose Aldo. And I actually predicted and have evidence that I predicted Nate Diaz in the first Conor fight by rear naked choke in the second round was my official prediction for that fight. I thought Nate was the perfect storm to beat him. And it turns out I was right. And I think Nate beat him in the rematch, and I think Nate will beat him in a trilogy too. Moreno or TMZ is so salty and glad Figgy got his belt back. Okay. I did not see that, but you know, Figgy was pretty salty before he took the fight and still seems salty. Hopefully they book that 4th fight and we can get it settled. Jones' second fight with the head kick KO didn't count. Let's just erase that from our memories. Figgy and Moreno are friendly. We aren't talking about the fights. Okay. I was cause I'm Irish, born on St. Patrick's Day, so the default. But nah, Conor should just retire. Conor was awesome in the very beginning of his UFC run, but then he just turned into kind of a douche. And I think he's drinking too much, to be quite honest. Or doing something, or doing coke, acting like a straight up weirdo, lunatic at some point in time. Okay. Guys, keep filling the chat with questions. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, if anybody wants to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description, and I will also post it in the chat. We got a members-only Discord. We have custom emojis you can use. We got loyalty badges. And I post a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff on the Discord as well as the members-only community tab. And also, I private a couple live streams a month for members-only replay watch. So if you want to become a member, you can cancel anytime. You'll always be a part of the members-only Discord. The link's below as well as in the description. If you're wondering, you see some of these Sinisters and French fries. You see the badges next to their name. That's because they're members. Hey, Joey, are you a boxing fan? Not really at all. I've never been really big into boxing. Figgy and Moreno are friendly. We aren't talking about the fights. I already read that, so I missed your boxing question there. Got too rich too fast, young. Yes, I agree. Figgy showed so much respect after their fight, lifting Moreno up after the most embarrassing performance of his life while making zero excuses. Moreno crying on interviews after a competitive fight where he. Yeah, but I mean, look at Figgy at the press conferences, dude. You think that was taking a loss easily? It doesn't matter what you do in the immediate aftermath. It matters about everything. I would be more likely to forgive Figgy if he was a dick in the immediate aftermath and then salty later. Look at the interviews he did. He was super salty about that loss. I mean, that's just fact. That's not even up for debate. He got edged out. Okay. Who should Bobby Green fight if he wins? That is a great question. That is a really great question. Because he deserves someone big. If he wins that fight, if he beats Nasrat, maybe fight a Brad Riddell. I'd like to see Bobby Green versus Brad Riddell. And Brad Riddell doesn't have a fight, and Brad Riddell's coming off a KO loss. So he doesn't have a lot to say. If anyone hates Moreno, they are really, really stupid people. Figueroa is one that spreads the hate while Moreno is all class. You know, from what I've seen, I agree with you 100%. Did you see Tai wanting to do a shoey out of the Lewis Cup? Yes, and we actually talked about this last night before he even said this. Disturbing. If Tai Tuivasa does that, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen or heard of. RDA versus Fiziev. I'm leaning Fiziev. I was very high on Fiziev. One of my early live streams on this channel, somebody asked me who is somebody I could see that's outside the rankings that could be a future champion. And one of my answers was Rafael Fiziev. And I'm very high on him. Do you think we would get a Figgy Moreno 4 or a new fight at 125? I think we'll get a fourth fight. I got to go, but it was fun. Thank you for always coming by, French Fries. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate you. Fiziev looks dominant. Yes, he does. Clearly an act. Okay. Did you see the new tough season winner? Ricky something. Tarikos, I believe. And do you think he is good? It's hard to say. Too early to tell. One fighter you want to be champion, but sadly don't see it happening. One fighter, probably Jose Aldo. I'd love to see him become bantamweight champ. Jose Aldo's got to be the answer. I love Jose Aldo. You know, it's got to. I mean, Jose Aldo. Look at the sustained dominance. Look at the level of competition that he's fighting. That's probably it. If I had to say another one, if I had to pick out another one, I don't know. I don't know of another one. First one that comes to mind is Jose Aldo. But there's not anyone else that I'm dying to see. I would have liked to see Tony Ferguson grab a title, but that one doesn't necessarily kill me. And I mean, Brandon Moreno winning the title was one of the funnest moments of last year. But other than that, I can be fine with everyone else right now. Dude, Bobby should have fought Cowboy in the card instead of Nasrat. It would have been perfect ending last fight for Cowboy. Not if he got stiffly KO'd. You're Mount Rushmore of MMA. I've answered this before. Anderson, and I know there's the asterisk because of the PD use. Anderson, Jones, GSP, Jose Aldo. And I don't remember who else I put on this Mount Rushmore before. So I got Anderson, John Jones, GSP, Jose Aldo. And who else did I put? I know I answered this question before, and I want to give the same answer. Who else? Who else do I put on there? I don't know. I don't know who else I throw on there. I'm trying to think of former champs. Lightweight. I don't know. There's someone I'm forgetting. I know I answered this question before and gave like 7 options. But those are the top 4 in my opinion. DJ could be on there. I'm trying to think. Any other names I'm forgetting right now? I feel like I'm always forgetting names sometimes. Who? I don't think I'd put Cruz on there. Just too injured all the time. Featherweight, I already put Aldo on there. I'm trying to think of previous champions. You could maybe throw Stipe up there, honestly. But I don't really think he belongs on there either. Probably the greatest UFC heavyweight of all time. I think those are the main ones, to be honest. You put DJ. Okay, so it probably was DJ before. Okay. If I'm asking too many questions, I'll stop. There's never too many questions, Sinister. Spam the chat with as many questions as you possibly can think of. As long as they're decent questions, I don't mind answering every question. I try to. Right now, right now, I'm trying. As the channel's growing, I'm trying to read every question because I know one day I probably will not be able to. If the channel keeps growing like it is, we keep getting the live streams like they are. Last night it was hard for me to read every message. I had to skip some. And so while I am able to, I like to try to read as many messages as possible. So is Paddy Pimblett going to be a journeyman? Too early to tell. Could be the best guy to ever do it. Could be the biggest hype job ever. It's too early to tell. If anybody's telling you they know Paddy Pimblett, where he's going to go off of one fight, either one way or another, and they say it, that they're confident in it, I don't believe them. I think Paddy gets dropped against anyone elite. Yeah, it's too early to tell right now with his skill set, but he's still very young. Has room to improve. Is Blood Diamond the best nickname pound for pound? I like it. Locks for 271. Who do I have as a lock for 271? I think Israel Adesanya is almost definitely going to win at this point. The more I think about it, the more I think I'm fairly confident in Derrick Lewis, but with knockout power, you never know. I definitely would go with Alex Perez over Matt Schnell. Yeah, I think for me, my most confident pick is going to be Adesanya over Whittaker. Even though I still think Whittaker has a chance. That's my most confident pick. Charles winning the title was a great moment. Yes, it was. It was a very good moment. I think everyone goes right. Rockage will be champ by the end of the year. I agree. I actually did a video on this where I said that. If Charles beats Gaethje, he suddenly is walking through the division fast. Agreed. Here's my question. Can you spell Michael Chandler without Chael? No, you can't. You were doing great, Joey. Okay, I'm not sure what that question means, but appreciate the support into Thin Air News. I hope everything's going well with your channel, my friend. I appreciate you always stopping by. You've been a supporter of the channel before even 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate the kind words. What fighter in any division do you think improves the most after each fight? I've been saying this for literally years, and I even have evidence on my channel for the last 6, 8 months, whatever you want to call it. Charles Oliveira gets better after every fight. Piotr Jan seems to get better after every fight. There's two of them right off the top of my head. Fight after fight, who's adding facets to their game? Those two. I think Jose Aldo's still getting better, which is crazy to me. John Jones in his prime when he was active was clearly upgrading every single training camp. I think Yuri can drop Rockage. Yeah, that Yuri versus Rockage fight's very interesting. Which fighter in any... Okay, I already read that. Paul Felder beat Dan Hooker, and I'll forgive or be mad at that loss. Okay. Paddy getting obese after every fight worries me. I didn't know he did that. Arnold Allen or Dan Hooker? Who do you got in this banger? I'm going Arnold Allen in that one. I'm not into the Dan Hooker hype job a little bit, and also moving down a weight class after all this time. I got to go with Arnold Allen. Most exciting heavyweight currently. Most exciting heavyweight currently. Well, if you're going off recent fights, it's probably got to be Tai. But for me, my personal favorite heavyweight to watch has got to be Francis Ngannou. For sure. And I know that's kind of his last fight. His last fight wasn't that exciting, but you get the point. Man, I just came across Dan Hooker versus Poirier. Geez, that fight was nuts. Absolutely insane fight. It's crazy. That's Dan Hooker's one of his best performances, and it was a loss. But he almost stopped Poirier multiple times. I predict Izzy to be the fighter of the year, fighting 3 times, beating Rob, then fighting Jarrett in the summer, then end of the year, fighting Strickland in December. Okay, such a good fight, Jack. Does Andre? I don't know what that question is about. I feel you on that. Story Hooker is super nice and genuine guy. What did I miss there? Oh, I see. Talking about the Paul Felder loss. When Charles defends against Gaethje in just 12 months, he will be winning a belt, defending it 2 times, while Khabib used to defend his belt once in 14 months. Dude, I hated the inactivity of Khabib. Fighting once a year was driving me up a wall. I'm surprised Hooker did that well against Poirier. Low-key felt Poirier doesn't train as hard as some of these other guys. I disagree with that statement, but I was surprised that Hooker did as well as he did in that fight. I was very surprised. I thought Poirier was going to beat him much more decisively. For sure. I really wish Izzy didn't go up a weight class and get dominated. That sucked to see. It is what it is. He wanted to cherry pick out Jan Blachowicz. He thought it was going to be an easy win for him. That's another thing I don't like. I don't like all the recent excuses from Israel Adesanya. Oh, I was bored. Dude, you were getting your face punched in on your back. But I know what you're saying. The aura at middleweight would be much. The gravity of it would be larger. The unbeatable air that he would have. But after watching him get dominated by Yan, it kind of ruins it. You know, I know exactly what you mean. Does Andre versus Vanera end in finish? I'll say yes, but I'm not sure who wins that fight, honestly. Toss that one up. I can't believe Andre Arlovski's still fighting. Do you think Cyril Gane will ever win a belt, or will the grappling issue be a roadblock? I think it's possible, considering there's not a lot of heavy grapplers right now. So I'll say 50-50 shot right now, but I think the grappling issue has to be addressed, and has to be addressed, immediately. Absolutely has to be addressed immediately. The fact that he got, such out-muscled by Francis Ngannou is insane to me. But again, Francis Ngannou's been leveling up forever, and people don't give him credit for doing it at all. Okay, Tapology, don't need that. I'm close. I always end up with a bunch of tabs open while I'm doing these live streams, just looking up stuff. Okay. Guys, keep the questions coming. As many questions as you can think of, throw them in the chat. I always appreciate talking to you guys. And don't forget, I mentioned this earlier today, but I will be going live for the UFC 271 press conference tomorrow. I won't be able to show the video, but I'll be able to show the audio. Last press conference was so much fun. Charles is a beast. Brazil is making a comeback. I've been on the Charles Oliveira train for quite a while. Yan was just a bigger man as he couldn't get up. Yeah, but he also got outstruck too because he was scared of the power of Jan Blachowicz. If it goes to the decision, I favor Andre. I'm sorry, but I think Ngannou is a snore fest unless he's not scared to get hit. That's so boring when his opponent even scares him a little bit. He was injured in his last fight, dude. Come on, cut him some slack. Did you know Gane doesn't even lift weights? No, I did not know that. That's what you're here for. Homework to fill me in on that. To fill me in. I had no idea he does not lift weights. That was not known to me. I just thought Poirier was a lot better than he was, but I realized Conor just got worse every fight they had. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy that, the fall. I mean, I don't even know if Conor got worse. I just feel like he met his match. Yeah, I feel like now guys, Blades would just dominate Gane on the mat if he doesn't address that. Yeah. Can he get to the takedown? But I think if he got him down, he'd probably finish him with TKO, with ground and pound, TKO, ground and pound. Fighters in general don't really lift weights, though. Okay, news to me as well. I know most of them train a lot of cardio. If Izzy would have won, he would have never had one title defense. Yuri KOs him out cold. Glover mauls him worse than Yan. And Izzy won't be able to KO these guys. Power difference is just too much. Dude, Glover would absolutely wreck Israel Adesanya. Glover would have put a way worse beating on Glover would have put a way worse beating on Izzy than Jan Blachowicz put on Izzy. The top game of Glover, he would have full mounted him and then just dropped that ground and pound like crazy. It would have been bad for Izzy's career. Like, at least in the Jan Blachowicz fight, when he fought Yan, he didn't take a crap ton of damage. He took some decent damage, but in the Glover fight, he would get destroyed. It's funny how Dustin beat Justin, but I guarantee Justin would have no problem with Hooker. I'm with you, and I think Justin beats Dustin in a rematch. If only Max and Piotr were in the same weight class, imagine the stylistics of that fight. That sounds crazy. Also, it's funny how Michael Johnson beats Dustin but lost to Justin. Styles against Styles. Yeah, and also Michael Johnson's just so inconsistent. Old man Glover is a mythical fighter. Yeah, that old man Glover strength too. Glover is just, once he gets you down, he is not letting you up. I mean, Glover Teixeira. Let's look up his resume because that career resurgence is just insane. Glover Teixeira. Let's see. Dude's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fight winning streak. Let's go back. I remember when he entered the UFC against Kyle Kingsbury. So he comes into the UFC, destroys Kyle Kingsbury. If you haven't seen that fight, it's not the greatest fight, but Glover Teixeira absolutely mauls Kyle Kingsbury, full mounts him, beats the shit out of him, gets a submission via arm triangle. Then he beats Fabio Maldonado. Then he outstrikes Quentin Rampage Jackson when he was closer to his prime. Then he brutally hurt James Tahuna and then submitted him. I believe that was the fight, how it went. Brutally KOs Ryan Bader. He gets the title shot against John Jones. Gets defeated via decision. That's when John Jones started breaking out those shoulder cranks, elbow cranks. Then he gets Phil Davis next, loses to him, gets out grappled, comes back, beats Ovince St. Preux, beats Patrick Cummins via TKO, beats Rashad Evans, loses to Anthony Rumble Johnson. He got brutally KO'd in the first 20 seconds of that fight. Then he fights Jarrett Cannoneer, beats him. Then he gets brutalized by Alexander Gustafsson, where Gustafsson throws the same combo about 26 times and eventually KOs him. Then he beats Misha Cirkunov. Then he gets beat by Corey Anderson. Then he goes on the great streak. Carl Robinson, which isn't the greatest win, but you get the point, Robertson. Then he beats Ian Kutalaba, both by submission there. Then he gets a split decision win over Nikita Krylov, which is actually shocking. I thought he'd be more dominant in that fight. Then he brutalizes Anthony Smith. He was losing that fight early, if I remember correctly, and comes back to win, and that fight should have been stopped far before it was by the corner and the doctor. Anthony Smith took a bludgeoning in that fight. Then he almost gets finished by Thiago Santos, but comes back and beats Thiago Santos via submission in the third round. Gets the title shot and beats Jan Blachowicz by submission in the second round. Absolutely insane. Glover Teixeira getting a title shot 7 years apart. Insane. No question before that where I said Paul Felder would have liked to seen as champion, and since the story was responding to my thoughts, I think so. Okay. Yeah, Felder is a very likable fighter for sure and had a good skill set. Prime Jones battered Glover. I was actually there live for that fight, Jack. I went there live. Yeah, he really beat him up pretty good. He was cranking the elbow shoulder area. Imagine if Izzy actually fought John. God, that would have been a beating for the ages. Dude, John would maul Izzy. I was literally about to say that exact sentence fast. Absolutely, Israel would have no chance against John Jones. Israel is not built for light heavyweight. Simple as that. I would agree. I wish I could like Glover, man. I don't know how you don't like him. John, round one, Kimura, consistent. Michael Johnson, the new mythical fighter. Glover ran into Jones in his prime. Exactly. He heated up late in his career. As terrible of a person as John is, I got to admit he's the world's highest MMA fight IQ by any fighter. I would agree. I agree 100%. Jones has some of the best fight IQ. He doesn't have best IQ outside the cage, but inside the cage has some of the best fight IQ I've ever seen. What's your favorite backing up the talk fight? I like when Habib ground and pound McGregor out of the pure rage. There you go. That would be mine too, for sure. Habib just beating the living shit out of him. In the second round, a lot of people forget, he almost stopped him with ground and pound. Oh, I meant to fight like Glover. Okay, I see. Yeah, but that finish that Habib had, first off, stops him with a neck crank, but he just bludgeons him for the whole fight beforehand. And people keep saying, Conor McGregor won the third round. Habib was standing flat-footed in front of him, smacking him the whole third round. Now, if you want to say Conor just barely won it by landing more volume or whatever, but if you were to tell me that Habib were to stand in front of Conor, open hand smacking him with no footwork and still win, I think that's crazy. And I think the McGregor fans just die on that hill. Oh, he beat Habib in the third round, barely. What's your solid lock pick of 271? Anyone in the card that you think wins for sure? Honestly, somebody asked me that earlier. And through the whole card, I'm actually fairly confident in all my top three picks. But when I watched a lot of their recent fights between Whittaker and Adesanya. And I think unless Adesanya has just lost all motivation, I'm pretty confident that he wins that fight. I'm 75-25 probably. If I had to go with another one, it'd probably be, I think Alex Perez beats Matt Schnell. I think I'm very high on Alex Perez. Matt Schnell's okay. That's on the prelims. That's the other one. And I actually think Kyler Phillips beats Marcelo Rojo. But to rate it, Israel Adesanya almost definitely beats Whittaker, in my opinion. That could come back to haunt me. You know, again, I know people like to sit on the fence and say, oh, this guy or that guy, let's see what that is. Thank you for subscribing, Oliver. Appreciate you. I know a lot of people like to sit on the fence because they're scared. Like if I say I'm really confident in Israel Adesanya and then Israel Adesanya loses, people are going to say, ha, 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 I don't care. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. If it makes me look dumb come Saturday, we will have plenty to discuss and where I went wrong. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think Israel Adesanya wins. And I think our bet and our positive, net positive for your bets, Fight Life, will go on. Would Habib versus Oliveira be an interesting matchup because of the submission threat? Be very interesting. I'm curious how good Habib's BJJ is against a guy like Oliveira. Nate Diaz versus Conor is a good one. Agreed. Jones would kill someone for trying to rob him, I guarantee it for sure. Kyler Phillips should destroy Rojo unless he gassed out, which is really possible. Yeah, I don't trust his gas tank. Fighters just a matchup with other fighters differently, and some just have better nights, just like Nunes Pena. Agreed. It was actually kind of cold that Habib put McGregor in a neck crank when he should have easily slipped a choke in. Yeah, he made him tap to a neck crank. There you go. Where do you live, sir? By the way, I live in India. I live in Baltimore. It's on the East Coast of the United States. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's nothing. If Justin beats Oliveira, would rematch with him if Dustin makes sense? I don't know, man. How many title shots is Dustin going to get? It's got to be Justin versus the winner of Beneil versus Islam, in my opinion. Whoever wins out of Islam versus Islam versus Beneil has to fight for the title next, barring some freak outcome in Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. My 5-leg parlay relies on Derrick Brunson. I need him to win. I think he can do it through people overestimate power, underestimate technique. I think Brunson can win, but I'm not picking him to win. I think Brunson has to win on the feet. I don't think he's getting Jarrett Cannoneer down. I don't think Jarrett Cannoneer is going to gas. But Brunson does have good power, but his striking is so sloppy. And Jarrett Cannoneer is going to be smashing that lead leg early and often. Smashing the lead leg of Derrick Brunson. So I wish you the best, Oliver. I hope your parlay pays off, but only time will tell. His striking is terrible, dude. He leads with his chin. I think Charles beats Justin similar way to Habib did to Justin. Yeah, I'm leaning Charles in that fight as well. Brunson will shoot for the legs. Yeah, but Cannoneer's got good takedown defense. Very good takedown defense. He shuck off Jack Hermanson with ease. And, I'm not saying that Jack Hermanson is a better wrestler than Derrick Brunson. I don't even think he is. But Cannoneer has shown good takedown defense in the past. All right, guys, if you have any last-minute questions, leave them in the chat right now. We're going to get ready and end the live stream. In the meantime, make sure to like the live stream as well as make sure you're subscribed. I will be streaming tomorrow for the press conference at 6:30 Eastern Time. I will schedule it on the channel tonight. And I'll also be streaming live on Saturday night immediately following the fights. It's already scheduled on the channel. And you can go and find it after this and set a reminder if you'd like. You can find it on the homepage of the channel, upcoming live streams. So if you have any last minute questions, we'll go another minute or two. Put them in the chat, but we'll have plenty more time to talk about UFC 271 for sure. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I'll probably be streaming Friday, maybe even Saturday. I'm definitely streaming tomorrow, and I'm definitely streaming Saturday. I may be streaming on Friday as well, just to talk about more about 271. Okay, Oliveira versus Habib would be amazing. Oliveira would be slipping around Habib's guard trying to get a sub. Habib would definitely give it all to control him. Yeah, plus Habib would look to land brutal ground and pound. I don't trust Justin's cardio when he grapples, agreed, or when he's backing up. Do you think Kevin Holland can rise up again in the division? I do not. He moved to welterweight. I do not think he can. I hope we get Oliveira versus Islam in Abu Dhabi this year. That'd be a lot of fun. That was one of my most anticipated fights of this year. Great stream. Thank you, Jack Rock. Bronson just said to MMA media that he will fight only 2 more times and then retire to give his family. Think he killed his chances to get a title shot with that statement. It could be. You're the GOAT. Thank you, Jack Rock. Dustin and Justin were both interim champs, right? Yes, they were. Adesanya battered Brunson. I know. That was on his come-up, too. Haha, a consistent Michael Johnson would be a problem for his division. Yeah, mythical creature, consistent Michael Johnson. All right, guys, I want to thank every single one of you, and I want you guys to enjoy the rest of your night. Make sure you join me tomorrow to live stream the press conference. I'll have the audio only, not the video, because I'll get a copyright strike, but I'll be giving my reaction to the press conference. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Don't forget to like the stream. And if you guys have any questions, you're watching this replay, just comment down below. We'll talk about it next week or in a future video. Have a good rest of your night.